With just 15 days to go until Election Day, spreading confidence in the system is a top priority for officials across our key battleground state. 13 on Your Side political reporter Josh Alburtus spent the morning with a local county clerk who showed us hands-on what happens on election night and what safeguards are in place.
It was in this room in early 2016 when Ottawa County Clerk Justin Roebuck remembers being faced with an unexpected narrative.
I remember getting questions from the folks who were in the room about whether or not they could trust that the vote was going to be counted accurately.
It's skepticism he says has now been fomenting for years.
It's so important for us as election administrators to be transparent about what we're doing, and for voters to be able to ask questions and get answers and see the process play out for themselves.
So ahead of the election, Roebuck took me through everything a voter needs to know to cast a ballot, including the requirements surrounding photo ID for in-person voting.
And what I can actually do is scan that ID and it will pre-populate in the poll book your voter information.
But for some, the concerns come from what may happen after the polls close. But as Roebuck showed us, it's a system filled with checks, balances.
There always has to be representation from both major political parties in the precinct.
And even metal cages.
They are checking the seal number on this cage device and making sure that nothing's been tampered with overnight.
But what about the ballots?
They're actually going to break a seal that is on this door here, and they're going to remove the voted ballots from this box, essentially, where the tabulator goes. So the voted ballots are sealed in an approved ballot container, and this is an example of one here.
And as to whether the machines could be tampered with,
there's a state seal that's placed on here, and that seal is placed on the equipment during the public logic and accuracy testing for the equipment. So that seal number has to be verified. It's kept in multiple places. As the seal is broken, bipartisan teams are watching that process. It's recorded.
Basically, workers would be able to physically see if the memory of a machine was tampered with in between official processes.
Even the passwords that are required to close the polls, there would be a different set of passwords and a different authentication to clear the totals from this equipment.
But even with these in place, concerns have continued to swirl.
And as the person who's in charge of all of this, who's doing the work day in and day out, and is saying as much as he can about the security of the process, how does that feel to you when we get so much skepticism over the elections these days?
I mean, I think over the past several years, we've seen a growing body of misinformation affecting our communities. And what we want to show through our work is the transparency, the bipartisanship that is involved in this process, the complete openness to the public as far as what is happening here. And it's so important that our public sees those steps that go into the process so that they can trust the process by which they're choosing their government.
Josh joins us now live from Ottawa County. And Josh, some communities have already started early voting.
Yeah, in some places, Juliet, like Detroit, early voting has already begun, but not everywhere. It is mandated by the state to begin everywhere in all precincts this coming Saturday. So for other places that may not have already, that's when it is going to start. So in order to find your polling place, you can go to michigan.gov/vote. Juliet?
Josh, thank you for that live update.